Jungle.
Hi guys, okay, quick update for Bitcoin. So as of this moment, I'm not long or short. I don't feel there's a good shorting opportunity. I'm sure many people are short. We've got the futures contract on Friday, but that doesn't mean we're going to get a massive sell-off. So the level that's got to hold if you're still bullish is 68 to 7,000 or so. That really has to hold. If this VPVR node breaks, then clearly we're going to go lower towards 42 and then towards 2496. However, with that being said, I feel this is some sort of three-wave correction. We're probably going to get another three-wave crappy little thing here, either a B wave or an X wave, and then we're going to get another three-wave correction. How high that goes, I'm not too sure. The other count would be that this is not an ABC at all, and it's actually a larger C wave, in which case it's a 1, 2, 3. Either way, we're about to get some sort of pullback, and then we're going to get some sort of wave 5, and that'll create the divergence. Okay, so with that being said, with the fact that I feel as though we still will make newer highs, there's no good shorting opportunity as of this moment, in my opinion. Many people, I'm sure, will make a couple of $100 on that short, but the next move down will be 80%, whether you like it or not. So that's the short everyone's waiting for. No one cares about a short that's going to make you 5%. That's a waste of everyone's time and money, frankly. So how high can Bitcoin go? Well, this is an alternate count, so the X wave could be an expanded flat. The highest it can go is 11,493. Wash out all of the stops up here and then run it back down again. One of the other count would be the C wave could finish here, so they could wash out everyone at 10,000, take out all the stops and then run it back down again. I've got a level here at 8994. 8800 would be the next level. So, and obviously we're past this level, so we can take that one off. So those are my three levels which I'm watching. As it gets through one level decisively, obviously you're looking up, but no one believes the low was in 3 weeks ago. That's not how bear markets end. They end in capitulation. So that's my count, really, that we're still working on the X wave. Elliott wave, you can easily predict. Anyone who knows what they're doing back in September could have easily said 20,000 to 2,500 way back here. So Elliott wave allows you to do that. However, what it doesn't tell you is how you're going to get there. So that's why all this up and down is really frustrating everyone. But all of you guys will be relieved of your frustration because you won't have any money soon, because Bitcoin will be at 42 and then 2496, and many of you will leave, and then that'll kick in the new bear market, the new bull market, and that's what we're all waiting for, those of us who understand how markets move. So this is how bear markets end. That's what we're waiting for, this big capitulation. Now, I don't have the 200 moving average, so you're just going to have to take my word for it, so I can't be bothered putting it on. But here in May and June of 14, it pumped above the 200 moving average for approximately 7 or 8 days. Actually, let me just put it on. Let me just highlight the point. So let's go to here, indicators, moving average simple, so it's not exponential. I do use exponentials, but not for moving averages. For moving average, sorry, for the 200, I always use simple. But for everything else, I use the exponential moving average. So that's the 200. So how many days did it spend above there? How many days is that? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, so about a week. It spent about a week above it, trapped all the buy orders, and you do notice the volume was actually surprisingly high during this point. And in the end, that turned out to be a massive trap. So we're probably somewhere here. If you wanted to do a fractal of 2014, I would suggest that was 25th, 27th of May, and all this ended 6th of June. So in the space of a couple of weeks, we got the answer. The bull volume was surprisingly high. We trapped everyone above the 200, and then we started rolling over. So that's pretty much where we are right now. Where am I going here? Am I going right? Yeah. So that's pretty much where we are. This is the 200 coming in. So you can see it here. Is this red line? Let me just make it a little bit thicker. So that's the 200. It's now the orange line. So, you know, it's just a matter of time before we get a rollover. So, you know, but as I said, this sell-off that we're seeing now live, that's not the actual sell-off. And you'll know when it's the sell-off because it'll be very, very violent, because we would have completed a full pattern here. So the entire B wave or X wave would have finished. So we're going to get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 drop in the space of minutes, much like we did here. So this is obviously not the short setup. So I don't understand why anyone's shorting here. Obviously, there's an argument to be made if this suddenly turns into be a very violent sell-off, then you've got in at the top, which is fine. But if you pull up the 8 EMA and take off the 200, the 8 EMA tracks really well the trend. Especially for Bitcoin. I mean, I don't usually use this to be honest, but it tracks it well on the way up, as you've seen here, on the way down, and the 8 EMA is all the way over here. So we could easily get a pullback all the way to 7718, maintain this 50 exponential moving up, and still be in an uptrend. So that's the key point. I knew yesterday something wasn't right. It just didn't feel right. It looked very much corrective, and so it's forming some sort of flag. So to conclude, up until Friday, we might get a bit of a sell-off, but I still think that'll just be a pennant or a flag, and we're still going to go higher. Now, how high we can go? Well, I've given you all my targets, so let me just go through them. So 88 to 9,000, 10,000, and the biggest washout out of all of them will be here. 10,000 makes some sense. I don't know what it is. It just makes sense. It would make sense to trap all the people who missed all of this move last year, who are waiting on the sidelines with loads of dollars. So they're waiting here with loads of dollars. It would make sense to get these little fellas in to trap them. So it would make sense for the professionals to pump it to 10,000. I'm not saying that it's going to do this, but that would make sense to me, for it to push to these higher levels, because 10,000 Bitcoin, everyone will think that the good days are back. And all these little fellas who are waiting on the side with their dollar bags, they're going to jump in, and guess what? That's going to provide the liquidity for the professionals to go short, much like they did here. So it's a regular flat double swing failure pattern. That's what I'm thinking. So we haven't trapped these guys in. We've not trapped these little fellas in yet. I don't think that they're trapped. So but that, you know, that face will turn into quite a sad face, because they would have lost 80% again, because they're probably the same people who bought up here. So they bought up here and they sold here, then they left. They're going to come back in here, and then they're going to do it again. So unfortunately, the market needs people like this to work. That's just the sad facts. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you liked the intro and all that. Nothing else to be said. So in the end, Bitcoin is going to go low to 42, and 2496 is what I've been saying for a while. I feel as though the price hasn't topped out yesterday. There is still some movement to the upside. A break off the 200 will bring some of these little fellas in. A break above key psychological numbers will bring some more of these fellas, and that will create the liquidity for the professionals and everyone who knows how markets move to be short. But I do not feel, honestly, that the move yesterday and the move that's happening right now is the actual dump. The dump will be very violent, because it will be a Y wave or a C wave, and it will be relative to this. So it's going to be as fast. And I've shown you the fractal that I think that we're in, which is basically here. So which means we have to contend with all of this. So that's my take. And if anything, this is further validating the fact that 4200 is not going to be the floor, because just from a Wyckoff perspective, law number 2, cause and effect. Look at how much cause is being built up here. So this will move, and it will move very violently when it does happen. There's way too much cause that's being built here. There's 6 months of cause, and effect is proportional to the cause prior to it. So those are my takes. It would make sense for some of these fellas to jump back in. The media has been especially bullish. ETFs, I'm not a fundamental guy. People comparing it to the gold ETF, that's a completely different market. The $7 trillion market. You can't compare the 2002 to 11 9-year gold run to Bitcoin's 5-year bull run. It's just not the same market, not the same dynamics, and certainly we're at a time in the economic cycle where that kind of move wouldn't happen. I don't see how an ETF would suddenly take Bitcoin back to 20k. You're going to see 4k before you see 20k, and you're likely to see 2496 before you see 20k. Full stop. End off. Teaching's over. Lesson's over. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Good luck to you guys. Hope you like my drawings and all that. And but as of right now, I'm not long or short. I'm just patiently watching. And there's an old saying by Jesse Livermore. Sometimes you got to be long, sometimes you got to be short, and sometimes you got to be fishing. I'll see you later.